Thank you, Mr. Fred. I'll be right on track. All right, students and faculty and honored guests, thank you for coming today. We're excited that you're here. We're very grateful, most especially to NASA, for giving us this opportunity. As you know, in October, we had attempt number 1 with some great technology that our Wireless Technology Club students did build. And the technology they built did work. We were actually able to be heard all over the world from others tuning into the station. We just had some, what I think the Air Force calls unspecified intermittent interference. And that prohibited us from being able to hear all of what the astronaut was transmitting back to us successfully. But you guys did a great job in the technology that you built. They did check it out. They confirmed that the antenna that had been built and all the technology that went into that contact that you guys worked so hard for a year and a half was really well done and successfully built and implemented. So thank you guys, and thank you to NASA for giving us this opportunity to speak with the astronaut in a way that we will be able to hear what they say. So with that being said, we've got an exciting program this morning. First, I would like to recognize School Board Chairperson, Mr. Jason Catalano. Thank you for being here with us today. We appreciate you and your support of our school. We'd also like to recognize Dave Jordan, who's been instrumental in helping us get this contact going, as well as Fred Kemmerer, who's going to help us with the telebridge of this contact today. He's based out of New Hampshire. We'd also like to thank our hardworking WCSD cabinet of the superintendent. So, Mr. Smith, thank you so much as our Chief Technology Officer for all that you have done for us. Thank you, Dr. Bledsoe, our Chief Informational Officer, for all that you have done to get today up and going. Thank you, Mr. Rothgeb, for all of your technical support and expertise as well as our school site tech, Lizelle. Shout out to her. She's amazing. So we're very thankful for all that our staff and our students have done. We'd also like to thank Mr. Bill McAlpin. He comes every week, at least once a week, to work with our students in the Wireless Technology Club. He helped them build the technology for the first contact. He also drove all the way to the northern United States to get some of the pieces that we needed for that contact to be successful and brought it all back with him. And so we appreciate all that he does for our students, faithfully showing up as a volunteer every single week to work with our kids. And several are on track to earn their licensing as amateur radio operators. And we appreciate all that he does for us. So thank you, Mr. McAlpin. And finally, I'd like to thank and appreciate Superintendent Hughes for several things. First of all, it was his vision to create this school. Many years ago, STEAM didn't exist. Magnet Innovation Center didn't exist in our county. And he had a vision for what this school could be for the students like you who are now here, benefiting from what his vision was and his hard work and the support of his school board in creating this school and supporting it and building it. And you guys are too young to know, but there is a saying, if you build it, they will come. And so he built it, and you guys have come, and you've had the opportunity to benefit from all that he's done for us. Under his leadership, when he became superintendent of Walton County School District, I don't know if you know this, but we were actually ranked 35th in the state of Florida out of 67 counties. So that's not bad, but it's not epic by any means. And so Superintendent Hughes has worked very hard with his cabinet, with our staff, with the staff throughout the county and the school board. And as a result, in just these short years that he's been our superintendent, we've had a meteoric rise. At present, we are number 3 in the state of Florida in assessment rankings. And that's thanks to you guys and what you've learned and what you've showed you've known. So good job to you guys. Yay, you. But also, thank you to your teachers. We have an unparalleled staff at this school, and I'm so grateful for all that our staff do every day to make learning hands-on and project-based so that you can see the relevancy of what you're learning and how that applies to awesome opportunities like this. You'll get to hear a little bit more about our astronaut, who today is Nicole Ayers, and all of the incredible education she's received within STEAM to be able to do the work that she's doing today. So this is an excellent opportunity, but beyond being number 3 in assessment rankings, we are also now number 2 in the entire state of Florida for graduation rate. So most of our students walk across that stage. I think we only missed it by 2 in the entire county last year. So things like that are basically unheard of. And so we're doing a great job in Walton County under Superintendent Hughes's leadership in order to help every child maximize his or her potential within our school system and then graduate at the end of the day with an education that we feel is unparalleled, that prepares you with your industry certifications, your dual enrollment courses, your AP passes, to be able to immediately become employable if that's your choice, or to move into post-secondary education if that's your choice as well, or to go into the military. Whatever your decision is, we know that you'll be well prepared for that future ahead of you. And then this is hot off the press. We were actually just named the number 1 district in the state in education by the Florida Policy Institute. So congratulations to you guys, to our staff, and to the incredible work that goes into Walton County. Well done. Superintendent Hughes did give me a call, and he asked me to convey that he's so sad that he's not able to personally be here this morning. He had some other things already scheduled. We get our actual contact window kind of pretty late in the game based on what the availability of the astronaut is and what NASA tells us. So unfortunately, he's not able to be here this morning, though he wanted to be. And he asked me to convey this special message. He said he's so proud of the students at this school and the hard work you have done to make this contact possible, as well as in all of the other incredible achievements that you guys have been accomplishing. I've kept him abreast of the really cool things that we've got going on at this school, and he is so proud of each and every one of you. The next thing I'd like to mention is at our school, our students here know this, being a STEAM school, we offer several magnet programs in biomedical science, computer science, digital design, engineering, the fine arts, theater, and video game design. And our students are prepared at the highest level, taking AP Physics, all the way up through what the College Board will allow us to teach. Same thing for AP Calculus, all the way up to BC. We have students in this room who right now are in AP Calculus BC. And so we're so thankful for the incredible opportunities we have here to do STEM learning married to the arts, because the innovations that you can create in engineering or in video game design or in any other STEM application are enhanced by the creativity and the innovation that the arts help us to think through as problem solvers through a creative, critical lens. So we're very grateful for the opportunity we have at this school and for our school wireless technology club. At this time, I'd like to welcome Mr. McAlpin to the stage to say a few words as the sponsor of this club. Thank you, Mr. McAlpin.
Well, this year, as you've gone outside the building, you probably saw students like Porter that were wandering around the campus with a little handheld antenna, and you're going, what in the heck are they doing? And we've had antennas set out here in the courtyard and done some POTA activations, they're called. And so if you're going to be here next year because you're not graduating yet, next year, we'd love to see you involved with the Wireless Technology Club. You go, what's wireless technology? How many of you brought your radios with you today? Oh, no hands went up. Oh, there went one. If you have a cell phone, you have a radio, because it's wireless technology. Your cell phone is talking to a tower someplace. And so there are a lot of different things that we're going to be doing with the Wireless Technology Club this next school year. I had the opportunity to attend the ARL Teachers Institute in the fall, and they gave me a whole bunch of equipment to bring back. And so we've got some great things planned for next year. So if you didn't get involved this year, get involved next year. And I especially want to thank the entire ARISS team, which is made up of NASA, AMSAT, American Radio Relay League, and just thank them for this second opportunity to do this ARISS contact. And we just thank you very much, ARISS.
And faculty, you're welcome if you'd like to. We have seats up here for you. If you'd like to filter in, please feel free to do so. You don't have to stand back there if you don't want to, but you're welcome to if you'd like. One of the other things that we'd like to mention about our great school is exactly the Wireless Technology Club. It does meet every Monday afternoon. If you're interested, please feel free to join in. But it was their work that helped us to have this opportunity today. The process for, and you guys can come on through, you're good. The process for the contact that we received today was actually about 2 years ago, we made a long and arduous application to the ARISS organization to give our students this opportunity. And it was done in joint partnership with all of our sister schools in Walton County. So we reached out to the elementary schools and middle schools, as well as our sister high schools throughout the county. And we've done some different educational opportunities for students. We also live streamed the last opportunity so that there would be some payoff for the kids all around our county who are benefiting, not just the students in this room, but throughout the county, for the hard work that our Wireless Technology Club students have done. So we appreciate all that they're doing. I remember rounding the corner one day and seeing them hard at work lugging the antenna up onto the actual roof of this building. And we did it, without any accidents, so that was great. They did an excellent job, and it has withstood severe weather over the last year. So what they built was solid, sturdy, and successful in their goals. So we're very appreciative for our students in the Wireless Technology Club, as well as at large, and our volunteer, Mr. McAlpin, as well as our staff. We know that the learning that goes into becoming an astronaut, or even talking to one with the technology our students built, is largely predicated upon the science and engineering and math principles that our kids learn every day at this school. And we couldn't be more thrilled with the hands-on project-based learning that the kids here get to receive, and the industry certifications they can earn in those fields as a result of their daily hard learning. The students up here that you see before you helped us out. They submitted some questions. When we finally got word back that we would be accepted as a school contact with ARISS, we then started making plans for the building of the technology, as well as what questions will we ask? What are the burning questions our student body has? And what you'll see and hear in a lot of the questions you'll get to be privy to today is that many students asked questions or formed questions based on the magnet program they're in. So you'll hear some biomedical science questions, you'll hear some computer science questions, and so on throughout our magnet programs, and obviously certainly several engineering questions as well. And so we're excited to get to talk with astronaut Nicole Ayers today. It is a different astronaut than we did attempt our last contact with, and so we're excited to see what she has to say to us about her experience in space. She finished and graduated with the Air Force in 2011 and is now in low Earth orbit on the International Space Station with several other astronauts, and she will be our point of contact today. The students to my side were the ones who were selected with questions to ask to the astronaut today, and so I'm checking my time. I think we're timed pretty well. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to ARISS so that they can talk us through some of the other important information for our contact today. And then at that time, we'll turn it over to our students to begin that astronaut contact. So thank you so much. And Dave, Jordan, it's turned over to you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, before we get started, I want to remind everyone this contact will be recorded. So everybody, this is David Jordan, callsign Alpha Alpha 4 Kilo November, or AA 4KN. I'll be your ARISS moderator for today for this ARISS contact with Magnet Innovation Center in Inlet Beach, Florida, USA. With the help of the amateur radio volunteers and the crew on the ISS, we soon hope to establish a radio contact with the International Space Station as it flies more than 250 miles or 400 kilometers over the Earth, over Hollis, New Hampshire, USA. This is all accomplished through ARISS, amateur radio on the International Space Station. The ARISS is currently approaching today's ARISS ground station, which is in New Hampshire, and is traveling along about 18,000 miles per hour or 28,000 kilometers per hour. The contact for today will be performed by the ARISS Telebridge Network, a worldwide network of amateur radio ground stations that enable students to contact the ISS. ARISS is an international consortium of volunteers from several nations that assist to develop and operate the amateur radio equipment on board the International Space Station. Most of those, or some of those agencies that support ARISS are the American Radio Relay League, the worldwide AMSAT, Amateur Radio Satellite Corporations, the Canadian Space Agency, the European Space Agency, the Japanese Space Agency, JAXA, Roscosmos, the Russian Space Agency, and NASA. Our link up today will be with the student participants at Magnet Innovation School, or Center rather, in Inlet Beach, Florida. Now let's get a check in with the group. We've asked Principal Kate Benson to tell us a little bit about the students that will be taking part in this today.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. I'd be happy
Go ahead,
to.
Kate.
So we do have several students across all of our different magnet programs at the Magnet Innovation Center who are represented today. Several of our students are actually in multiple magnet programs, so you will hear and see students up here today from the biomedical science program, the computer science program, the digital design program, the engineering program, as well as theater and the fine arts and video game design programs as well. And you'll see that reflected in the questions they asked today. So we went through an arduous process, allowing our students the opportunity to submit questions that they would like to have answered by the astronaut. And then we had a committee that met, and we went through all of the questions submitted. We selected the questions that we would like to have asked, and then we notified our students that they would get to present a question to the astronaut today. And we'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Jordan.
All right, thank you very much, Kate. So our contact today is with, as we said before, astronaut Nicole Ayers. Amateur radio call sign for her is KJ5GWI, who will be using the ARISS amateur radio call sign NA1SS. And that will be heard many times as we're calling out for them. The amateur radio ground station that will be establishing our radio contact with ISS today is ARISS Ground Station AB1 OC. Is located, as I said before, in Hollis, New Hampshire, USA, and operated by Fred Kimmerer, AB1OC. That is his call sign. Fred, please tell us a little bit, if you would, about the AB1OC station and how you will handle the contact today with the ISS.
All right, thank you very much, Dave. My name is Fred. My amateur radio call sign is AB1OC. And we're about 8 minutes, I think, from the point in time where the International Space Station will come over the horizon and we'll begin to make contact. Students, if you look at the display in the front of your room, you'll see the software, or a copy of it, that we're using to track the International Space Station. It's over the Pacific Ocean right now, off the west coast of the northern part of the United States. And it's moving at about 17,000 miles an hour and will be approaching us fairly quickly. Computers are a big part of space communications these days. We're going to be using our computer here to both predict and track where the ISS is at all points in time during our contact, as well as control the antenna systems and the radios to keep the antennas pointed exactly at the space station, and make sure that we compensate for Doppler shift that's occurring in the radio frequencies from the space station because it's moving so quickly towards us. You'll notice in the tracking software that there's a blue circle around the ISS that's labeled ARISS on your display there. That indicates the area on the ground that has the potential to have a radio link to the International Space Station at any point in time. About a minute or so, actually about 2 minutes or so, the computer will start to aim the antennas here at the place on the horizon, which will be west-northwest of me, where the ISS will come over the horizon to prepare for our contact. We'll begin calling roughly a minute before the ISS comes over the horizon, and we may hear them a little bit early. We'll see. When the red circle around the ISS turns, or when the blue circle around the ISS, turns red, that will mean that the ISS is potentially in range. Now, it may be a little bit before we make contact. Sometimes there are hills or trees or whatever that get in our way a little bit. So don't become nervous if we don't make immediate contact. And it's really great to hear that quite a few of the students there are working on getting their amateur radio licenses as part of the STEM wireless program at your school. I hope someday you'll get your license and get yourself a handheld antenna and a couple small radios and maybe talk through the International Space Station yourself. It's actually quite easy to do. And I'm sure Bill and the amateur radio team there, if they haven't done it already, will be glad to show you how to go about doing that. We're about T-minus 5 minutes now from the International Space Station coming over the horizon. We do a variety of amateur radio activities here in my station. In addition to having high-frequency radios that can communicate pretty much anywhere in the world, and the satellite ground station, which we're using today, we also have equipment here to bounce signals off the moon. And that is actually a pretty difficult contact. If you all might know, the moon is about 250,000 miles away, whereas the ISS, I believe, is about 800 miles away. So that's a considerably longer and more difficult thing to do. Why am I mentioning this? Amateur radio has limitless possibilities to allow you to experiment and learn about really cutting-edge technology. Experiment it with yourself, build it yourself, and most importantly, use it to talk to other hams around the world. The other area of amateur radio that's particularly special to me is the opportunity to get to know people all over the world. When you get your license and you set up a station for the high frequency bands, you'll make contacts with people in Europe, South America, Australia, New Zealand. Where you are down there is actually an excellent place in the United States to do this. You'll make some amazing friends. And most importantly, you'll have a chance to meet people who live in other countries and understand how they look at the world, what they think about all kinds of things, and you'll make some amazing friends. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you might go to a ham radio event somewhere, and you may actually meet someone who you've spoken with on the air from another country. I've had that privilege with several folks in Eastern Europe. And it's always very special when you have what we call an eyeball QSO meaning a contact, with someone that you've talked to far, far away. All right, we are about 3 minutes from acquisition of signal now. And we'll see if we cut over to the antennas. Maybe the folks in the room can do that. We'll see here in about a minute or so that the computers here will take control of the antenna system here at my station, and begin to point the antennas at the horizon. Yep, there, I can see on the live stream, you can see the antennas now. In about 30 seconds or 45 seconds or so, the computer will take over and make sure the antennas are pointed where the ISS is going to come up. And we'll go ahead and make a contact with Nicole, make sure we have a good solid radio link, and then we'll turn it over to all of you in the room to get your questions answered and have what I hope will be for you an amazing experience. All right, we're at my mark will be T-minus 2 minutes to acquisition of signal, and we'll begin to see the antennas track in on the International Space Station. Mark, T-minus 2 minutes to acquisition. And the computer has taken control and is moving the antennas to where the ISS will come over the horizon. It's a beautiful day here in New Hampshire. We'll have great weather for our contact, and that won't matter a lot anyway, but we'll be able to enjoy the nice view of the equipment here. All right, we're T-minus a minute and a half now. In about 30 seconds, I'm going to begin calling the International Space Station. The ISS will actually come up at about 55 and 30 seconds, so that'll mean I'll be calling about a minute early. And perhaps if we're lucky, we'll hear Nicole before the ISS actually comes over the horizon. All right, we're at about, my mark will be T-minus 1 minute to acquisition of signal. And it looks like the antennas are now pointed at the point in the horizon where the space station is going to come up. Students, I know you all worked very, very hard, as has the amateur radio team and your teachers and others, to make this contact possible. So I hope you'll enjoy it, and you'll have what I believe will likely be an experience of a lifetime. All right, we're T-minus 30 seconds at my mark. I'm going to bring the radio in here. You'll hear some noise, and we're going to begin calling the space station. T-minus 30. November Alpha 1, Sierra Sierra. November Alpha 1, Sierra Sierra. This is Alpha Bravo 1, Oscar Charlie, for a scheduled school contact. Over. November Alpha 1, Sierra Sierra. November Alpha 1, Sierra Sierra. This is Alpha Bravo 1, Oscar Charlie, for a scheduled school contact. Over.
Bravo 1, Oscar Charlie. This is November Alpha 1, Sierra Sierra. I've got you broken. How me?
Nicole, you're loud and clear. Do you copy me well? Over.
You are now loud and clear. Over.
Are you ready for the students' questions, Nicole? Over.
I am ready. Over.
Thank you, Stella. Good luck with your contact, and don't forget to say over.
Do training regimens differ for shorter missions compared to extended missions? Over.
Every crew gets emergency training and contingency training, but the long and short duration missions would differ based on the science and maintenance that you might have to do. Over.
How do you think space travel and exploration will future mankind? Over.
We learn a lot when we take the force of gravity away, especially with all those tiny little processes in our bodies and in different mechanisms. So we learn a ton that can inform how we do things on the Earth. Over.
Hi, it's Addie. How long does it take to readjust to Earth's gravitational force when you return home? Over.
Well, it takes your inner ear and your brain a day or two to figure everything out, but it takes your body and your muscles a couple months of rehab to figure everything back out and get back to normal. Over.
This is Walker for Chase. What ongoing research aboard the ISS is being conducted that could speak to terraforming Mars or increasing the likelihood of habitability on another planet? Over.
We have a metal 3D printer on board the space station, so we're learning how to build parts and equipment up here in microgravity. And then on Earth, we actually have built an entire habitat for the Chopea Mars missions. So we're doing a lot of research on 3D printing as of right now for Mars.
How do you feel when you saw the Earth from space for the first time? Over.
Oh man, amazing, in awe, pensive. We don't have enough words in the English language. It is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, something without borders, and all you see are the colors and the terrain. Pretty awesome. Over.
Why is space exploration important? Over.
There's an entire universe out there, and we want to go explore it, figure out how to adapt in microgravity and how to live long-term in space. Everything we learn up here informs what we do on the Earth and helps us learn about the Earth more. Over.
How do you cope with the isolation and confinement of space, and how has it affected you mentally, physically, and emotionally? Over.
Well, I've got a great crew. I got really lucky and have some great friends up here, so we get along great. Have a great time with them. I call home, and the view doesn't hurt. Over.
What bacteria can live in the biome of Mars and other planets being considered for future human habitation, and what makes them able to do so? Over.
NASA actually thinks that methanogens and actinobacteria could live on Mars because of their resistance to radiation, so we're looking into that. And then here on the ISS, we study microbes and how they react in microgravity. We found actually that they can change their gene expression and cell growth rates. Over.
This is Kate for Analia. Can you view cosmic phenomena in outer space that are impossible to see from Earth? And if so, how has it shaped your view of the universe? Over.
I think one of the coolest things that we can see when you go to sleep at night and you close your eyes, you can actually see the cosmic rays come through your eyelids as little white flashes. So it's really interesting to see that. You never see that on Earth. So just seeing the effects of radiation on your body in real time is pretty cool. Over.
Can launch vehicle emissions affect the Earth's atmosphere and space? If so, what is being done to mitigate that? Over.
Yep, rocket launches produce CO2, black carbon, and water vapor into the atmosphere. And right now we're advancing the technologies. We're trying to find green propulsion, solar power, and then also reusable rocket systems to help mitigate the effects of emissions and space debris.
Have you ever seen anything in space that you can't explain? Over.
Ooh, I think the aurora is one of the coolest things I've seen so far. The way the green and red dances around the sky, and it's just something that's tough to wrap your mind around. Over.
Is the construct of time different or perceived differently in space given the 16 daily passes across all time zones on Earth on any given day aboard the ISS? If so, how? And does it impact your circadian rhythm? Over.
Well, we work on Zulu time, so we keep a standard day, but we do get to see a lot of sunrises and sunsets, and you have to be careful. If you go to the cupola and it's super bright out right before bed, it can affect your circadian rhythm. Over.
This is Zach filling in for Daisy's question. Are rigorous medical examinations completed for all astronauts before being sent into space to reduce the likelihood of contamination of communicable disease? Do all astronauts from various countries on the ISS submit to a similar standard battery of medical exams to screen for and prevent the spread of communicable disease? Over.
Hey, firm, we all go through a ton of exams before we launch, and then we all quarantine for 2 weeks before we launch so we don't bring any germs up to space station. Over.
How have advances in computer vision algorithms for navigation and structural systems for protecting space vehicles from extreme temperatures improved the spaceflight experiences? Over.
Well, right now we actually have two types of robots on ISS that are using these visual algorithms, Astro B and then the Gem Camera robot, for navigation inside and outside. And then we also use for the structural areas, we can use it to see real-time damage and assess the damage real-time. Over.
What is the most exciting or awe-inspiring moment you've experienced in space? Over. Over.
It's a toss-up between the first time I ever saw the world from this view and the auroras. They have been absolutely amazing because we're in a solar max right now and we're flying over near the Antarctic, and it has been amazing. Over.
How are operations for crewed lunar missions progressing? Over.
They're progressing pretty well. Artemis 2 is headed to the moon next year, so we're excited about that, and then Artemis 3 will be right on its heels. Over.
What do you love most about space? Over.
I think I love the flying. I love to do aileron rolls as I zoom through the lab. Over.
Walker filling in for Chase again. Besides rehydrating food, what are other ways food is prepared in space? Over.
Yeah, we actually have thermostabilized and irradiated food up here. Over.
What preparations did you undergo to become an astronaut? Over.
I think everything in my life helped me prep for it. Every team I've been on, every airplane I've flown, every high and low helped me get to where I am. Over.
In what ways does the design of the rocket affect its aerodynamics? Over.
Yeah, we want a pointy end to reduce drag, and then we use fins for stabilization, and then you have to have a specific shape and a heat shield to get back to the atmosphere. Over.
What is your exercise regimen in space? Over.
We do about 45 minutes of cardio and about an hour plus of lifting weights every day, so pretty extensive. Over.
In the 21st century, to what extent did virtual reality play a role in your training to become an astronaut? Over.
NA1SS, AB1OC, do we still have you, Nicole?
Hey, Firm, I'm here.
Okay, did you hear that last question? It was, do you want us to repeat it?
Hey, Firm, please repeat.
All right, students, let's have that last question one more time.
In the 21st century, to what extent did virtual reality play a role in your training to become an astronaut? Over.
We actually do a lot of virtual reality in the robotic arm training and our spacewalk training, and then we do a ton of simulators for launch and landing. Over.
This is Kate for Analia. What was the best moment you've experienced during your time as an astronaut? Over.
Oh man, I think the launch was probably the best thing so far. It was like being slingshotted off the Earth. Over.
How do you receive medical attention while in space? Over.
We all actually get medical training so we can take care of each other. And then we have a couple of crew that are extra trained, and then we're lucky enough to have a doctor on board with us, Johnny Kim. Over.
What's the most trivial thing you miss about being on Earth? Over.
Running water and a sink and a drain. Over.
If you had the ability to create artificial gravity inside the ISS, would you want it, or would you rather stay in zero gravity floating? Why? Over.
Oh man, I think I love the floating part, but as we continue to spend longer duration missions in space, we're probably going to have to think about how we create gravity and how we maintain our bodies and our equipment. Over.
Do you grow plants on the ISS? If so, how? Over.
Hey, Fern, we grow plants. We've done lettuce and chili peppers and all sorts of things, some tomatoes, and we have a little habitat. We provide them light and water, and we have to have a special containment area for their roots to grow because they don't feel gravity, so they got to figure out where the water is. Over.
What is your primary research objective on this mission? Over.
Oh man, at any time on the ISS, there are over 200 experiments going on inside and outside, so tons of objectives. And we play a part in many of those, a small part in those for facilitating it. But personally, I signed up for about 12 or 15 experiments just on the human body, so I'm really excited to provide exams, ultrasounds, blood, all sorts of data for the human experiments. Over.
All right, students, you got all your questions answered. Would you all like to say goodbye to Nicole and thank you? Nicole, on behalf of us all here on the ground, thank you so much for the work you're doing to inspire young people for STEM learning. 73, NA1SS, AB1OC, we're clear. All right, students, good job. You got them all in. Excellent. Congratulations. And we'll hand it over to Dave, our moderator, to wrap it all up.
Wow, that was fantastic. You guys did an incredible job. 28 questions, amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just shared a wow moment in history. Amateur radio station AB1OC, located in Hollis, New Hampshire, USA, and operated by Fred Kimminger, AB1OC, contacted astronaut Nicole ARISS, KJ5GWI, aboard the International Space Station and spoke with students at the Magnet Innovation Center in Inlet Beach, Florida, USA. Now, for the international volunteer team of ARISS, including the amateur radio satellite corporations around the world, the American Radio Relay League, the Canadian Space Agency, the European Space Agency, the Japanese Space Agency, and Roscosmos in Russia, and NASA. This is David Jordan, AA4KN, your ARISS moderator, sending my salutation to all of you in amateur radio terms, which is 73s. This means best wishes. Congratulations, everybody. That ends our program.
And thank you all for the opportunity to be part of this amazing contact. 73 from AB1OC. We hope to see some of you on the air. Bye-bye.
Well, today has been one of the most exciting days I've had at work here in Walton County. I'm just thrilled and humbled that I get to be part of such an incredible school district where our superintendent, our school board, and our staff, as well as our students, make opportunities that are once in a lifetime like this available for not only the kiddos in this room, but also throughout the entire school district. Thank you guys for your hard work. Keep up the great work in the classrooms with all of your learning, with your hands-on projects, and then applied computer science, applied mathematics. You might find yourself up on the International Space Station someday, and I know that that's the goal of several of our students in this room. You can do it, and we're proud of you. Thank you so much for today. Students who ask questions, we really appreciate the hard work that went into your questions. And those of you who filled in today, thank you so much. We appreciate your diligence and your hard work as well. Thank you to the students in the class or in the cafeteria for keeping it so quiet so that we could hear the contact. The noise at the beginning, they do have to make that kind of like white noise sound when they turn the squelcher off so that they can hear the astronaut on the International Space Station at its earliest moment. What we got today was not only a once-in-a-lifetime experience, but it was rare that we got through all of the questions that we had to ask. And we're grateful to NASA for allowing us the opportunity to ask some really hard questions of the astronaut in space. So thank you to Nicole Ayers. Your background, your resume is impressive. We wish you all the very best for the rest of your time on your space mission. And thank you to the WCSD School Board, Superintendent, District, and students. We appreciate all that you do for us. At this time, students who ask questions, you're released to your advisory class to grab your belongings, and then you're going to head directly to fourth period, and then we'll start filtering out from the back, but I'll go back there and I'll cue you guys, all right?